Hey guys, my name's Taylor Calishaw and I am a political science major. Today we're going to be talking about what it means to be in the political science discourse community. Let's jump in, starting off with modality, genres, and text found in political science discourse community. Whenever we talk about modality, we're talking about what form is the information being presented in. We've talked about this in class. There's written, oral, digital, and visual, and those all apply to political science majors. Going down the list here, we have written, which is the mode that most political science information is shared because it is a concrete or physical citing source that can be used for debates or continuing research. Next, we have oral modality, which, as mentioned, debates and speeches are typically how one's personal beliefs and research are applied and challenged within the community quickly and face-to-face. Next, we have digital, where if you look anything up online and it's political science related, if a website or article pops up, that is digital modality. Lastly, we have visual. Visualizations are an important part of displaying research finding as they can show the magnitude of consequential political related decisions or comparisons. Next up, we have genre. This is how all of these modes fall into types of identifiable structures of communication. When we're talking about written modality, you probably think of books. Especially in research, they're a lot longer, in-depth, research-focused analysis of the topic of political science that the author or the writer is trying to discuss. Next, we have briefs, which are shortened, summarized, nearly bullet point papers discussing the main focuses after a speech or a meeting. Next up is white papers, which is another word for a paper that discusses or identifies a problem in political science, or really just any political issue. Usually these are brought up whenever we are talking about grant campaigning. Lastly, we have theses, which are used by graduate students who are majoring or mastering in political science, which is a large collection of their research and conclusions regarding political science so that they can add this to their resume or it could even be published. Lastly, we have text, which are pieces that can be found within genres that are also easily identifiable. This could look like cited information, which is when new research is published, they usually have backed it up or based it off of previous research that needs to be cited so that their conclusion is reliable. Next up, we have blogs, which are pieces that are part of an opinion. So these aren't necessarily written or digital modality that could be cited because they do not require empirical data or evidence because this is someone's personal perspective or opinion. Lastly, we have interviews. These are conducted by an interviewer who represents a news source or an article to share with the public, and they are typically interviewing someone with credentials or a degree or experience in political science with the intention to quote them on said news article. Let's do a rhetorical analysis of political science. A rhetorical analysis answers the question of why these modes, genres, and text can influence or persuade an audience. So, what is political science? It says here that political science is the focuses on the theory and practice of government and politics at the local, state, national, and international levels. In terms of persuasion, political science focuses on informing and persuading the public in hopes that shared values will lead to political action. Quote, rhetoric, which in part investigates how language is used to organize and maintain social order. Rhetoric can build or destroy societies, create or stop change, and, crucially, work toward preserving civic life. The main contributors of persuasion are ethos, your credibility, pathos, your emotion, and logos, which is using logic. To be trusted by the public, you need to have an established relationship that makes you a trusted, reliable source of information, meaning that you need to either have a degree or years of experience or even both for your peers and members outside of your discourse community to respect what you have to say. Politics are a touchy subject for a lot of people. Everything in our life revolves around politics. In pathos, it means that we are influenced by our strong emotional ties to certain ethical beliefs, religious affiliations, and our personal experiences. Debates and speeches heavily rely on this approach to persuasion. Articles also use words like heartbreaking, heart-stopping, or disturbing to pull at the heartstrings of readers. Lastly, we have logos, which kind of seems like an obvious statement, but political science means that ideas can be studied experimentally and obtain evidence that supports findings. Whenever you have a debate or an argument, you need to have science or empirical data to back up your statement. Beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors of political science discourse community. This is basically just a long word of what does your typical political science major look like? Starting off with beliefs, we believe in power distribution, importance of evidence, public responsibility, and established institutions and theories, meaning we know that there is an importance of power and social influences on politics. We also know that research and empirical data solidify theories. We also know that it's our responsibility to inform and persuade the public so that the world remains or becomes a just, safe, and equal space. Lastly, we also recognize that institutions like racism, classism, sexism, and religious theological beliefs have influences on modern society. We also know that theories like Marxism and capitalism exist in the modern world, and we can easily identify them because of their characteristics. Our attitudes are open-minded, objective, and activist-led. We are always open to new ideas and different cultural, experimental, and situation perspectives, as we know that these can influence political beliefs. We also remain objective because while our research and hypothetical questions may come from a place that's very passionate, we can't change our findings because we want the outcome to be different. Activist mindset means that we understand that politics is a part of everyone's life and it should be taken very seriously. Passing laws and protecting rights is how we maintain function, and if power is left unchecked, we fail as a society. We see this every day in other countries and even arguably in America right now. Lastly, we have behaviors. We obtain social skills through public speaking, campaigning, and communication. We also learn to perform research through basis of theories and peer review. We also become adept to educating the public, because what's the point of poli-sci if no one knows what you're talking about? We also have a strong sense of justice, which is an important characteristic to have when you are constantly dealing with structures that were built on injustice. Now we're going to be talking about what you can do with a political science major in your career. The options are honestly endless with political science major. Just a few examples of career paths could be public relations, journalism, city and urban planning, and even being a lawyer. And last but not least, we have career expectations. When we're specifically talking about political science, the salary expectation is around $132,350, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, in comparison to journalism, which is $57,000, public relations, which is around $66,000, and lawyers at $145,760. The nice thing about being a political scientist means that you have a lot of job opportunities, including government work, research, and even private businesses or nonprofit careers. I think the main benefit would probably be the feeling that you get whenever you know that you're making a difference in the world. Unfortunately, political science ranks only 4.6 out of 10 on the US News Best Jobs list, mostly because there is not much room to, quote, climb the ladder in whatever career that you are pursuing, but it ranks average for stress and even above average for flexibility. That will wrap up this political science discourse community presentation. Hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, thanks for listening.